2,368 pedestrians were killed in only the first 6 months of 2015. This statistic comes from the U.S. News article published March of 2016. Were you aware of this 10% increase, or that these pedestrian fatalities are at a 7-year high? As the daughter of someone whose life was claimed by the recklessness of another, I am fully aware of the pain and suffering that a family can feel after an auto pedestrian accident. Today I want to inform you of the injustices these families bear and ask that you join the fight to increase the penalties for those at fault of these accidents. Auto pedestrian accidents, whether life-threatening or not, can significantly change a person's life. The most common reason for these accidents to occur is the use of electronics while driving. People are more distracted than they were 5 years ago. The use of cell phones behind the wheel is very dangerous and absolutely ridiculous. Everyone is so worried about staying connected and taking pictures and texting that they don't pay enough attention to what's right in front of them. Because of this negligence, more accidents are occurring, especially those involving pedestrians such as walkers and cyclists. The damage that can be inflicted on these pedestrians is usually fatal. The ones not fatal can still damage the victim to the point of minimal recuperation. My father was hit by a vehicle from behind and dragged down his very own street. The person responsible did not call for help or let anyone know what had happened. My father was taken to the hospital roughly 30 minutes after the accident because a neighbor heard what happened and called an ambulance. He was not expected to live and diagnosed as a quadriplegic, unable to breathe on his own. The doctor said that if he had emergency assistance earlier, that he may not have been so bad off. After an entire year, unable to move and constantly between hospitals and hospices, he passed away. The conviction that the driver of the vehicle received was a minimum charge of recklessness. Even though my dad passed away because of injuries that he received from this accident, since he did not immediately die, it was not considered manslaughter. This is a common occurrence and a problem with our justice system. In many hit-and-run accidents involving pedestrians, the driver is often not caught nor prosecuted. The few who do make it through the system end up with minimum charges and an insignificant amount of jail time. This not only makes the victim feel insignificant, but also the family members are left as though justice has not been served. Senator Kirk Watson has issued a bill through Congress requesting stricter penalties. His bill is Senate Bill 275, increases penalties on those who flee the scene of a fatal hit-and-run accident to match the penalty for intoxication manslaughter. This means whether you have been drinking and driving or just hit somebody on accident and left the scene, you will be charged the exact same. The overall goal is for people to stop leaving the scene. We need people to call help and stay until the help arrives. Many times these victims are being left for too long without help and their injuries become that much worse. With the help from the government, the hope is to enforce a strict charge reducing the amount of hit-and-run accidents. If the law can be changed, the time people receive for this crime will feel more appropriate. We all know accidents happen, but people need to accept responsibility for what they've done and call for help. What most people fail to realize, unless they know a victim, is that there can be severe pain and suffering that sometimes never goes away. Our victims are not recovering, and our offenders are not receiving any punishment for their actions. Family members of these victims are left to feel angry and useless because they are unsure of how to help. Victims feel a sort of abandonment mixed with serious physical pain that sometimes never goes away. If we could just adjust the law to enforce a stricter penalty, I believe that more people would stop to render aid. Congress has already got the ball rolling. Now we just need to join the fight. The maximum sentence currently in Texas for a hit and run is a $5,000 fine and up to 5 years in prison. This information comes from the Safe to Drive website. The problem we need to fix with this penalty is the fact that most people who commit a hit and run only do so once. Being that it's their first offense, they usually get a slap on the wrist, no matter what damage they have caused. With so many people falling victim to this tragedy, together we can make a difference. Not only can we join the petition for the bill, but we can also educate others. You can have many talks. You can have talks with your family and friends and let them know how dangerous it can be to use their electronics while driving. You can ask them to stay focused. If they're on the phone while they're driving, ask to take their phone away and text for them. You can talk with the people around you about doing the right thing if they are in an accident. We all know it's scary if you accidentally hit somebody, but the right thing to do is to stop and call 911 so that they have a fighting chance. If we all band together and spread the news of this epidemic and how we can make the change, everyone can benefit. The rate of people committing these hit and runs are alarmingly on the rise. The penalties for these crimes need to be adjusted accordingly. We have thousands of people falling victim to this crime annually, and if we are able to join together and change this law, I believe that many people will do the right thing and stop with the running when they hit people.